Education Station with Bishop Barry and the Evangelicals. In this episode, we will be continuing last week's episode, which was on marriage, first covenant, and soul ties.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Good. Well, we also want to let everybody know that this will be the last shoot-in for Education Station for the month because we got into the holidays. Yeah, we have holidays too. Hello. We want to eat turkey too. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to watch some Steve Urkel and laugh too. Hello. Yes. So we just letting you know. We'll see you back after the new year, but we want to send out a shout out and season's greetings to everybody connected to IFM. We want to send it up to Greater Dimension, our covering. We love you guys. Thank you for your support, and we hope that you have a wonderful holiday season. Now, Evangelicals, kick this off. Let's go.
Amen.
Well, as you guys know what we talked about previously, if you didn't, you can go watch our previous episode, but just to bring a refresher to everyone, we defined what marriage, covenant, and soul ties are. We gave biblical standpoints, biblical revelation from the Spirit of God. And for context again, when it comes to soul ties and just marriage as well.
Yeah.
I was reading John 4.
That's the text.
And if you have your Bibles.
If you know.
Bible says.
Yeah.
Stay with me.
If you have your Bibles, John 4, and it's really from 18 is where Christ said something so profound. But to give context to this, Christ was going to the city and the disciples end up going somewhere else to get food and things like that. And Christ ended up sitting to this well where he met this woman Samaria and they began to talk and just building conversation. Christ essentially introducing himself to the lady in regards to being the living water and all of these things. But further down in the conversation, she was basically asking him for this, even though she didn't know truly what it was, because it was explanation building up and stuff like that. And so he was like, okay, you want this living water? Go get your husband and come back. And that was the first verse that kind of startled me. That was the first verse that kind of startled me. And I was like, why would Christ tell her to go get her man essentially? And if she's the one who asked for this living water, even though she didn't really understand the magnitude of what she was asking for, and that in itself is a whole different topic. But in terms of today's episode, marriage and the importance of a covenant and stuff like that, which is, the importance of each roles in marriage, the husband's role and the wife role. And I don't know if you guys remember the first episode, the first pilot we shot, Bishop kind of briefly touched on it where he talked about how marriage is actually for the husband. Woo!
Get your deliverance, girl.
I feel some feathers ruffling.
Yeah. But yeah, that right there is true, which we will get into at a later episode in the future. But to get to verse 18, as you go further, it says, we're a little up to verse 17. No woman answered and said, after Christ told her to essentially get your husband and then come back. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Jesus said unto her, thou hast well said, I have no husband. Verse 18 goes on to say, for thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. In that sayest thou truly. So Bishop, because he explained it to me, but I want him to, explain it in a way that, in its entirety, what that meaning.
Well, we in the text, and as Evangelist Shay told you, we elaborated a little bit last week. We had some responses where people said, they believe in a certain part, but, when you have sex, you're not married. So contextually, and this is where the church has left because we get so caught up into fanatics and we don't exegete contextually the word. And so verse 16, Christ said this, Jesus said unto her, go call thy husband and come hither. Husband there in the Greek means aner, which could go both ways, man or husband. So when we know in this vernacular, and even back then, when you say you have a man, you kind of connected. You kind of have this person that you want to be in deep relationship with. We're not talking about needs yet. We're not talking about those things yet. But as we go on, it'll get a little deeper into both roles and what the need is in the relationship. But here it is. He telling her to go call thy husband. Why didn't he say go call thy boyfriend? Why he didn't say go call the man you sleeping with? Why he didn't say, and this is what I want everybody to understand, because we can have the skeptics, we can have the people to come back and talk about this, and like Evangelist-elect Shauna was explaining to someone who she was talking to, we don't come with things off the top of our dome.
Right.
We don't come with things where we just wake up in the morning and say, oh, okay, we can just talk about that. No, we're here because we want to educate the believer, and that's why it's called Education Station.
Amen.
And I want you to see something. He didn't say go call for the person you just in bed with. He said go call your husband. Why would the man that walked the earth to fulfill his assignment, to bring us into deliverance, tell this woman, a Samaritan woman, who at the time, historically, Jews wasn't supposed to fellowship with.
Right.
So the concept of this prophetic utterance here, and the whole parabolic movement here, when he asked her to go get me some water, it was to start a conversation because he saw something in her and he wanted to bring her from somewhere into something.
Yes.
And so right here, he said, go call thy husband. The woman said, listen, but I don't have no husband. What you talking about? So if she answer and say, I don't have a husband, then what exactly was she doing? So we exclaimed last week that to have sex mean you already married, because in the Old Testament, and even some references and cross-references and chains in the Greek say, he knew her.
Yes.
Or she knew him.
Yes.
We're not talking about getting to know someone sitting from across the table. We're talking about intimate sexual relations.
Yes.
So here Christ comes and says to her, go call your husband. Woman say, I ain't got no husband. Well, who you been in bed with then? So now it get a little deeper. Christ tell her, okay, I understand what you're saying. That was well said. You have no husband. And the reason why you say that is because you have 5 of them. So explain to me, oh theologian, oh the man with the degree hanging on the wall, and you who just come from Oral Roberts and all these deep places, why Christ exclaimed that she have 5 husbands. I tell you why. Because she was sleeping with all of them. And so anytime you cross the matrix of the penis into the vagina, that's marriage.
Yeah.
And nobody want to hear it because we want to justify what it is we're doing. We want to stay doing what we're doing and don't want to have no accountability. But I came, and the evangelicals came to make you accountable.
Yes.
That you've been married to everybody you slept with, and it's contextual.
Yes. Amen.
I can stop right there because I can start with you. But me, I'm going to help myself accountable. Go ahead, Shay. Sorry, take it over. Go ahead.
Well, does anyone have any questions or elaborations on what was just
I
said?
have a question.
Go for it.
So say you've given your life over to God,
Mm-hmm.
and you already formed these soul ties, because we know that that's a connection
Mm-hmm.
that will always be there unless you say God yes.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you detach yourself?
Well, first of all, the soul tie, we got to remember that man became a living soul, so we're still in that realm. And your psyche is made up of all your senses, your will, your desire, your emotions, all the faculties of feeling. So it is there that you are tied, it is there that you are connected, it is there, and that's why it's called a marriage. And that's why we're so harping on covenant. How do you get delivered is you have to take it step by step, compartment by compartment, and you have to go into the resuscitation of thought. And a lot of usums don't like therapy, but sometimes for healing, we need to talk to somebody.
Yes.
We also need to understand that writing is very therapeutic. And if you don't believe me, go research it. Writing is very therapeutic. So if you would begin to pull apart the reasons why it took place, the reasons why there was a breakup, the reasons why, and you begin to move through it and not feed the analytical mind, then you would be able to be free from, first of all, the emotional tie, and then it'll break the soul tie.
Yeah.
That's what need to be done, but no one want to take the time out to do it, because you know what? We want to jump from vagina to vagina and penis to penis.
I have another part B to that question.
Mhm.
So, if you do not detach yourself from these soul ties, what's going to happen to your soul? How does that impact you?
Well, it pulls your soul into a diastric, diaphragmic, kind of biometric, magnetic, impulsive decision-making person. Because what it does is it causes you to always recall that person. That person will always be there. So you be sitting down eating Wendy's, or you be in a restaurant somewhere, and then all of a sudden you see this person flash before your eyes. Oh, that's Sandra. Oh, I remember when me and Sandra. I remember. And you're like, well, how the hell I can think of Sandra is eating a burger? That's what happens. So it is planted in the seat, and all the minions can do. I mean, Lucifer minions now. Y'all don't. We're not talking about crew and the little yellow things. So, yeah, banana. We're not talking about that. But what it is that you will find yourself always reflecting and always have that person bubbling up from what you buried because you never faced the fact and the reason for why. And the sex already had you all so together. You never divorced spiritually. You never divorced physically, because you always find yourself picking up the phone and texting Sarah and say, why we break up, man? Every Valentine's Day, every holiday, whatever special time you all celebrate, maybe her birthday, you start to sit down. And this is what affects people emotions, especially females.
Yes.
You go off, like some of my younger daughters, when they break up, they used to play this song. This song so etched in my mind. What is it, the breakup song with the baby?
Heartbreak Anniversary.
Yeah, Heartbreak Anniversary. Yeah, oh my Lord, that fella make millions. That fella make millions.
No rights to that song, by the way.
Yeah, we don't know right. That guy make millions.
Yeah.
And every time they break up with a dude, whether they kiss them or hold hands or get deep or been intimate, they in there with their hood on,
Weeks.
holding their hair down.
Weeks.
And then the room dark. Oh, now you don't open the window. What? Oh, you break up. Okay. You need some tea? Would you like for me to talk to you? No, I just
No
want to be
food.
alone. Okay, no problem. You ain't hungry? Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Living off love.
I tell you. So that's my point. You would always find yourself on whatever day it was, reflecting on this person. And even though, and that's why in so much relationships today, we have a lot of psychologists talking about carrying baggage from one place to the next. Well, what is that baggage? That baggage is all them people you was married to sexually, all them people that you pulled in but you had no covenant.
Yeah.
So you was just connected to those people, and you had a husband or a wife in your life, and you saying, oh, that's just sex. No, boo-boo, it ain't sex. We came to reveal to you that you've been married, whether it's 18 times, whether it's 20 times, whether it's 5 times, you've been married, boo-boo.
Yes.
So my next question, because when I was reading on soul ties, people say you can start to emulate the person, like your character changes to that of people you were with.
Of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
I can
And I don't know from
attest.
experience.
I can attest to that.
That is true, because you become one with the person.
Yeah.
That's what the matrix of entering into a marriage in a sexual bedroom. Because first of all, let's say this: sex was only designed for marriage. So let's establish this footnote.
Right.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
Wink,
Write
wink.
that down. Note takers, write that down.
Sex was only designed for the marital bedroom. So what happened was it was perverted and twisted and taken out of context and saying, well, okay, to test a relationship, let's have sex. Why we can use that to test a relationship? Why is that the main thing to prove that this fella could do it if I get married to him? Or this girl could rock it if I get married to her? Why isn't that we can't just have a conversation from an intellectual standpoint to learn each other and grow together?
Exactly. I agree.
Because I want y'all to understand something. If we interview some people over the age of 70, they'll tell you they ain't had sex in years.
But they're still happy to marry.
Let's explain that. So there could be a stage without any marital experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
There could be a genuine way to just date someone and get to know them.
Yeah.
But we went to the cart before we actually get the horse and buggy.
Sure did.
Wow, not a very smart way to go about it, right? Because to be honest, When your relationship is based solely on sex,
Mhm.
the longevity of it's not. It
It's
doesn't
not really
survive.
there.
Because sex is the foundation, and
Exactly.
anybody can have sex.
Exactly.
exactly.
This is the
Anybody can.
point, and that's why we have that has came from always wanting to go faster, always wanting to okay, we gotta go, but we're never stopping to have a thought that maybe this is not the right person I need to be getting married to.
Mm-hmm.
And so we cataclysmically put ourselves in a position where we are so full of so much garbage. Our psyche is so full of stuff till we responding like the person we just slept with. Because you pull their whole operation of character and psychological framework to you, and they do the same.
So are you saying that if you had sex with like 20 people, so that's 20 different personalities
Yes.
running around in
And
Yes.
and the people that.
So that means they're
Yeah.
unstable.
Yeah,
because
it's correct.
1 minute you're
Mhm,
normal, next minute you
Uh-huh.
That's it.
okay.
And
So
not
we
just
call
20
that-
people.
No, not just 20, but on top of the 20 is the psychological framework of that 20. So it's more than 20. It's like 20 amplified.
Oh, because you have to also include the other
So
person
they
that they slept with.
Yes.
And the people that they.
So that's more than 20.
Yeah, it's more than 20. So, but you wouldn't know clearly because
Oh my
you're unaware.
Right.
So it's that innocence and it's that ignorance that you become so culpable with that you've lost who you are. Your whole identity from birth is gone because you then intertwine and intermingle with so many people that you went and say you married to.
Wow.
So now you in a marriage and then you calling this, well, you know, what the world is saying now, what the people are saying. Well, you know what? Let's don't put a label on it.
Yeah. Like, stop putting a label on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go with the flow. Let's
Uh-huh.
see where it ends.
Yeah,
up.
see where it goes.
No.
Yeah.
I have another question. So what happens if you did not detach yourself in the suke or
Mm-hmm.
your soul, you did not divorce from all these soul ties that you've had,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get physically married with the paper, which is a legal way.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in that marriage?
Oh boy, woo, you in for a fight.
Chaos.
You in for a battle because
Wow.
the guy coming with his luggage,
Mm-hmm.
you want to unpack it. Now there's practicality. You want to unpack the luggage, but no one really ready to deal with this history of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
No, really before now in the female, because I'm surrounded by them, but
Wow.
in the female
Don't take that
in the female flow, you guys will have this feeling like, boy, I shouldn't really, I did this, don't, ooh,
Should
there's
be going on
something
this
wrong with this fella. But
Mhm.
where you get caught up in innocence, boy, you look so good, my God, you smell good, Jesus. He got on some nice shoes, and he's wearing a nice suit, he's wearing a suit well. Look at them shoes.
Talk
So,
my business.
you get so caught up in the outward adorning and the Spirit of the Lord warning you, even if you ain't know Christ deeply, there's a flag popping up and you saying, I could, let me just check out what the junk look like. Let me see if he could handle me sexually, and then I can make all the stuff up, and that's where it starts right there. You give yourself an excuse to just go get married, but now could you keep him in marriage? Could he keep you with the people?
Right.
That is he experienced with being a real life partner. We don't want to talk about registrational marriage because anybody could go to the doggone JP and get married, and that's why marriages ain't lasting now. Because no one have a covenant and thinking about life partnership. We thinking about sexual partnership, having some kids. I'm a man, dog. You know, I drop a few, man. Really?
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
And I've seen this fizzled out throughout the years. I've seen people get married. What is the importance of having premarital counseling?
Well, the importance of it is to really get to know the person. But see, premarital counseling shouldn't just be 6 months before the wedding.
Right.
That premarital counseling should be 2-3 years. Because here's the whole clue on the rocket. Some people been, this the clue first. Some people been dating for 5 years and waiting on the fella to make a decision when they're already married. Because after 5 years, you're already common law married.
Right.
So you then married.
Right.
Now you still hoping and wishing and praying that he marry you. But if you understood, you'd already know you then married. So now the next thing is to find out if this is your life partner.
Right.
Now, here is the whole truth different from the clue. A life partner would already know after 2 years if you want to be your partner for life. So why you with this fella 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, drop 2 kids, all this stuff, and then now you say, well, you need to make me an honest woman. Sweet girl, he didn't honest you so much times. He didn't honest you so much times. So you then miss the whole concept and precept of what happened, and so that's the rocket. You then get shoot off long time. You then spend 10 years with this person. You have 2 kids. Now you break up. Whoop. Well, what to do? How does this thing work? I thought this was your
Life partner.
why you break up. You break up because you started it off wrong.
Oh wow.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I have a question. I'm swaying. As you know, my dad's counselor. So here. And preferably, I would like him to counsel me minds.
Of course.
So what you're saying is that 2 years. So because he said premarital, so marital kind of happened before premarital. Premarital happened first. So you're saying is that what, like you being counseling for 2 years and then afterward, then y'all get married or become in covenant, or
Well,
y'all already in a covenant because y'all in agreement to.
Well, yeah, but y'all ain't sleeping together though.
But so that's
You
problem with.
yeah, you wanna build a relationship off a solid foundation, because the husband is the houseborn. He keeps the house together. So how you can know if he keeps the house together if you just because we in a fast lane? 6 months counseling, married. Why? Because you want to have sex. Just say to the pastor, listen, I burning. I just want to knock this off. Just marry me. But then you go through the counseling with this little fable, oh, we know one another. Boo boo, you ain't gonna never get to know someone in 6 months. That's impossible. Because after the 6 months, the stuff can come out. And I've lived it. Well, I've been married, and then you marry these people, and then they shift and change after a couple of years because now the real them, the demon jump out. And then what you can do? You have to process it. You have to go and try to deal with it. You have to go and try to, oh my goodness. Now you have to make adjustments. And that's not who you are. And so I'm suggesting, I'm not saying that you have to. You go up your 6 months and get married, drop some kids, and then later on he cheating, you cheating, and then y'all get there and say, mother freeze. Where did the love gone? There was no love to begin with because you never built a foundation of love. You built it off sex. You don't make love, you have sex. So anybody, just like Yvonne Deshawn said, you could have sex with anybody. So why is it a woman feel like, okay, you can stop having sex with the man and that's how you start? Another key pocket here is whatever you do to start, you better maintain it all the way through.
Consistency.
And that'll be mentioned as we go on. But the problem here is you won't have 6 months. How in the world would 6 months of counseling help you? You ain't even deal with the people you was dating first. How about we talk about that? That take a year.
It does.
That one thing take a year. Single, you go first, he go. You got to talk with all the people you dealt with first. Because now you have to deal with this person without history and baggage in your life. You have to start fresh with this person. But no, you starting off with, you know what, I done been doing the shake and the wobble on the... And so I can just put it on him the same way. That's what you start off with. Go ahead.
I have a part B question to Shay's question. So, what if you're not dating the person? You're single. Can you still get training to become a husband or a wife? So, when you are prepared, so when you meet that person, you've already laid a certain amount of foundation.
Well, that'll be great, but a lot of people don't want to trust people with their business because they trust has been broken so much in Christendom. Trust has been broken so much in relationships. So that's the first thing you have to build a foundation on. Can you trust this person with your history? Can you trust them to tell them, listen, I slept with so much this and I've been through this? And could that person trust you with the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody coming in with lack of trust and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
They coming in with hurt and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
But we say we forgive the person. So why is it that when you on dinner, say you on dinner with the prospective person, and then his ex walk in the room and his features change, don't even forgive him.
Exactly.
Same thing with you. Someone walk in and you say, oh man, this nigga, you know, he's the hell out of me. But you ain't changed yet.
Right.
But and he don't know that. And so he doesn't know that the things that annoy you, you haven't told him about that yet. You're just so happy because y'all just rocking it in the bedroom. So that is what y'all build a foundation on, sexual foundation. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with a covenant. It has nothing to do with life partnership. Sex is the foundation. And when you build something on sex, it's like building your house on the sand. It can get washed away.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Just have this question because I feel a believer or someone, period, who's just either waiting or waiting in terms of now that they have the tools and the understanding of what marriage and covenant truly looks like and things to go about, like healing and that process of detaching yourself from soul ties. So what would be the, I don't want to say right way, but a godly way to go about now? You want a covenant with the opposite sex, but it's really the man coming to you because it's he who find it hard.
Yeah.
Right? Not saying that training and it doesn't take away from your process and your growth, but in terms of like how does a person now go about essentially like you waiting as a female and the man not pursuing in regards to what was been said now, like the premarital and all of that.
Well, the thing about it is that a woman, let's take it contextual. Let's go to the book of Ruth because this is what the church shows. You can get your voice, and they shout, and they get in a two-step. But the question here is are you prepared to give up everything that Ruth gave up?
What did Ruth give up?
Ruth gave up her hometown. She gave up all her familiarity. She gave up everything she knew from childhood. And she said she denounced being a Moabitess, and she was grafted into being a Jew right there. And, you know, all of their husbands already did pass away. So Naomi told her to stay. She said, no, I can follow you, and your God can be my God.
Yeah.
She made a covenant with Jehovah and didn't even know him, simply because of what she saw in her mother-in-law. So the characteristics and the display of God was seen and was evident. So what Ruth decided to do was, now we moved to Jerusalem from the famine in Moab. We hungry. So Ruth decided, because back in them days, if a woman go in the field, she was liable to be locked up, hanged, or killed. She risked her life to feed Naomi, a woman that didn't born her, but a woman that was a spiritual covering. So because Naomi was up in age, she couldn't go out and do stuff. And Naomi, her inheritance was there because Boaz was a kinsman. Boaz was like a family. So she automatically, because Boaz still living, had an inheritance or had legal right to the land because of her nephew or her, I think it was a nephew, somewhere close in her family line. But now here goes Ruth inside the field picking food. Boaz looking out the window. Isn't it so amazing that he that finds a wife? Boaz have all kind of woman around him, but he looking at a woman who demonstrated sacrifice, loyalty, selflessness. Good word. Oh my goodness. Big word. Something we can elaborate on in the later episode. She was selfless in what she do. So instead of him locking her up, which all of the other people in the kingdom wanted to do, he say, put a little extra there for every day.
Yep.
So now he already know it's a woman. But he trying to feed them because he knew who she came with. And so what you trying to say, Bishop, here's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to help you understand that if you move in a way that you know what sacrifice is, and you know how to be a female and not a female male who want to control things, and if you learn how to be submissive to and loyal and have character and be selfless, then your Boaz will see you.
Hallelujah.
But you have to put yourself in a framework to be working so that he can see you. So ain't no man gonna find you if you're not in the place where you're supposed to be and putting in the work that you're supposed to be doing and allowing yourself to be available like you're supposed to be doing and allowing yourself to be submissive like you're supposed to be doing. No man can see you, but he can see you when you're in that right place at the right time and you're putting in the work.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is God's will for your life, essentially. God's will.
Exactly. And that's something you have to know.
Yeah.
But the producer right now in time, so we look like we gotta go. We look like we gotta go. We look like we gotta go.
But anyone have any closing remarks before our producer shut things down? Anyone have any closing
I mean,
statements?
today's episode has been very informative. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. And I really hope we've answered or asked all the questions that you could possibly have. But if not, Shay's gonna give you the email.
Yes, I will. Okay, first and foremost, I want to say I see the views. I see you looking and watching and stuff like that. And I want to say no question is stupid. No question
Yeah.
is small. Like, oh, I'm supposed to do something like that. No, ask. And you don't have to give a full detail. It can be like an anonymous email. If you feel a little more comfortable in the messenger, I don't know, you on YouTube, you in the comments, Mitch, I don't know if it's kind of personal kind of thing, or you just have a question, you can even feel free in those respective areas, and as well as the email, educationstation278@gmail.com. But don't be afraid to send your questions, send your comments, even if it's a comment like y'all said something, and even if it's a disagreement,
Yes.
you're not here to agree straight across the board. It's just learning and understanding things and letting go of which was old and having that mind in God, which we are supposed to have. And so he had to produce a whole lot of these. And so, you know, you have to put a little joke on you every episode. But yeah, thank you so much. So don't forget to message that.
Well, I will add to what Bishop and my sisters would have said. Thank you so much for following us. Thank you for tuning in with us. And again, no question is a stupid question.
Yeah.
Everything is about learning and for information purposes, to better ourselves together for the kingdom of God, for his glory and his honor, not our personal gain. And so again, to you and your family, happy holidays. And remember to spend time with each other. And the real reason, like the church said, the real reason for the season, whatever that means.
Well, we signing out. And we'd like you to know the reason why God gave us this platform is to assist you and assist us as well. So I agree with everybody on this hosting platform that there's no crazy question. We're here to learn both ways. And so if you have something to add, and if you want to even comment, you're free to do it on our platforms, all of them.
Yeah.
You're free to do it with our podcasts, all of them, we're fine.
Grace moments.
At the same time, we want you to understand, because in all you're getting, get understanding.
Yes.
Amen.
So season's greetings from IAFM, all the evangelicals and the bishop here. Y'all have a good holiday. Good. And if you do, send us how you cook your turkey. We'd appreciate it.